Thank you for speaking with us. Now, the government of Syria seems to have been on the receiving end lately. Airstrikes from Israel a couple of weeks back, and then being accused of being responsible for an attack on one of its border communities with Turkey. It just seems like, a game change in the crisis.
Well, I would say, yeah, it's really a game changer indeed, because now it's like so many people are getting involved in what is happening in Syria. But my problem really is not because people or international community is there per se, but what is international community doing? It's not as if the crisis started yesterday. It's been on for 2 years now, and many lives have been lost, and you can see the number of refugees that this crisis is churning out. All the neighboring countries are at the receiving end already. They are stressed. In fact, their economies are already affected. Many of them are complaining. So you can see that the pressure is really on the Syrian government to actually do something. But how will the government do something, and what exactly will the government do when Assad is still he's not letting in? He doesn't want to step down, which is what so many people are clamoring for, particularly the opposition. So I think they are just at the crossroads now, because international community would have wanted Assad to step down. But to me, it's like the international community itself is ambivalent about what to do with Syria right now, because of so many interests that are involved. Iran is there, Russia is there. You can see that even America is not actually forthcoming the way we would have expected America to actually talk about this matter.
What exactly are you expecting? What are you expecting the U.S. to do about it?
Well, when you talk about international community, really, what really comes to mind first and foremost is America. It's America's overwhelming influence on the international community. When you talk about UN, of course, you're talking about America. You talk about any international, talking about the influence America has over all organizations in the world. One would have expected America to use that influence to actually force Assad down, to step down, because of the number of lives that have actually gone with this war is, to me, is intolerable. So I would have expected America to actually, not necessarily stepping in on its own because of the recent past, which is understandable. Obama is being very cautious in what he does. He doesn't want to be compared with his predecessor, so that he will not, his popularity will not nosedive. Of course, we would have expected America to rally around other international committee members to actually do something that will be a defining moment in the whole crisis. But I have not seen that done.
Okay. Well, of course, the attacks by the Israeli army, no international condemnation for it, even though Syria says, of course, it's been condemned. But the United States, of course, re-emphasized it was behind Syria. The reason the government gave was that it was trying to stop weapons being transported from Iran to Hezbollah in Lebanon. You think that, Israel's fears about Iran's development of nuclear weapons, which will eventually be used on them, is legit. And the fact that the airstrikes happened and, nobody's on Syria's side.
Yes, nobody's on Syria's side. Let me say overtly, they may not be on Syria's side, but there are some, of course, who are supporting Syria hitherto. I want to say that the fear of Israel is legitimate because of the role Iran has been playing all this while. Iran has not at any time hidden his interest in Syria and his hatred for Israel. As a result of this, anything can come from that axis to Syria. Besides, Hezbollah has always been supporting Syria. It has, the organization has said recently that it was going to, in fact, Nasrallah is even basking on the influence of Assad and other governments that are supporting Syria, that they were going to pay Israel back in their own coin, that it was going to strike in such a way that it would be very, very painful and it would be a game changer. He said that recently. So with all this coming, Israel has, I think Israel has enough reason to suspect what Syria is up to. I think what Israel does more often than not is what we call a preemptive strike. Okay, so So before you do it, I know what you are planning. Before that, let me show you that I'm not only on ground, I'm very strong. So I think that's exactly what Israel had done. And maybe the reason why we have not had any, so much of condemnation on what Israel is doing.
Okay, but, well, and as we said, of course, there's been no condemnation, but the attacks that took place recently on the border between Syria and Turkey, the Turkish government is blaming the Syrian government of committing that particular action. But considering how much the crisis is dragged, do you think this is just an excuse? Countries are actually coming up with, reasons to attack Syria.
I wouldn't say so, because to me, what Assad is experiencing now is like a sinking man who is fighting with all his strength, with both hands, trying to swim to safety. And a sinking man will do everything to rescue himself, and whoever is on his way towards getting rescued, he will sink the individual too. So that's exactly what I think Assad is doing now. So whichever way he thinks that enemy is coming, or any attack is likely to come, or whoever is not actually supporting his move and what he's doing is his enemy. And so a situation like this, like everything is right in a war situation, and so I wouldn't want to attribute that to mean something as if the international community is looking for an opportunity to evade Syria, because the international community is already in Syria already.
Yeah, but it looks like everything is against them. I mean, the U.S. and other countries have said that the government is using, U.S. and Britain actually, say that the government is using chemical weapons, though in small portions, on its citizens and trying to fight the rebels. But the UN team has come out to say that, it's the rebels that are using them in small portions, and nobody seems to be saying anything about it.
But the fact is that I think a great deal of caution is essential here, because you remember the recent attack of Saddam Hussein. Okay, America's attack on Saddam Hussein. It was alleged that Saddam Hussein was possessed WMD. And the IAEA went there several times to cross-check to know whether exactly the allegation was true. And each time, IAEA will come back and say, look, we've not found